Nice, welcome.
So, I'm a board member. I think she's the only new board member we have this year. Am I right?
Yes.
So with that, if I get the approval of the minutes for February 19th,
Sure.
if anybody has any questions, reviews. An update on the CDE project?
Yes, we have come to a final guaranteed maximum price on the project, and it's $6,806,578. We negotiated the bids. The bidding sort of came in a little higher than that, and what we worked on the scope of the project. Also, we worked with the low bid on the subs. The general contractor did. Excuse me. So we're very pleased with that number. Our contingency account is intact. Those of you that were around for our last expansion, we lost our whole contingency account in cement out the back door here. So we're in good shape there. And so Kathy tonight will be signing off on the revised number. So we're very happy with it. In terms of the project, we're in a demolition stage now. The demolition crews are in there. We had to do a little bit of asbestos work in the building, but that's all been removed. And so now we're in just knocking down walls and getting ready for the actual construction phase. One of the issues we're having is that whole side of the building is blocked off, and people being people, they're cutting through. They're this, they're that. So we're sort of policing the last of the stragglers, and to say you can't be through here. You can get hurt. We have some big machinery coming in as part of the demolition process and the construction process. One of the things that we've talked about administratively is moving lacrosse from the field over here to putting it on the football field for the season. And there was some shock and concern that, oh, you can't do that. Well, first of all, the board and the superintendent can do anything they want to do.
And the principal.
Yeah. At times. I'm not sure, left to his own devices, that was such a good idea. But, so what we are proposing to you is allowing us to move lacrosse for this season onto the football field. Now, lacrosse, the sport itself, will do some damage to the football field. And so what we will be doing is working with Jim Blake. The football field in and of itself is probably in worse shape than any of our fields. The best field that we have, quite frankly, is the soccer lacrosse field. That's in great shape. So what we'll be doing after the lacrosse season is we then will come in and we'll do some serious hydro seeding and reseeding, and also in some places, probably the center area and where the goal melts are, we'll be doing some resodding. Now we do resodding. We've never done resodding here, but we've done plenty of resodding over at the other field. So we'll bring this back up into pretty good shape. When lacrosse season is over, the field's shut down and won't be used again until football. Yes, Peter.
What are the dimensions of a lacrosse field compared to a football field? Is lacrosse bigger field or smaller?
I don't know the actual dimensions, but the athletic director tells me it fits fine.
Any other questions from Mark?
Anything on that? That's about the impact of the project right now. Bruce has done a terrific job moving programs all over the building. I think either at our last meeting, I may have sent you the memo that the faculty got about where people were going. It was from Todd Austin, where people were going and the rooms that they were in.
Just update, all the complete vocational programs are into this building now. We have one more goal we'd like to do before April vacation, and that's to move to Tech Ed, the old industrial arts, it's right back of us. Doug Ross's program, and that's a lot of equipment up there. To do that, we're going to relocate him to up by the theater and that piece, and we have to coordinate it with Mark and CCI and the architects. If they didn't get that part of the building, if we left that till June, they could not have accomplished what they wanted to, because there's a lot of work that needs to be conducted in there. So I've got to get all that equipment up into the back of the stage area where we build sets, and we will be using part of that, the theater, for power and energy, because I've got culinary arts down here in this program here. I want to say kudos to the staff and to the students who have dealt with this. We had a mini concert in the gym on Friday, last period, for a performance of our concert band and our choir. And you know, you've got to go in now. Those back doors are now, that's not an exit. You can't go out there. So you'll hear that announcement anytime we're there. Mr. Austin has done a number of fire drills. Many announced, but some were not announced. So we needed to practice because all those people are in new rooms. The room numbers have been assigned, they're different. I've taken the fire chief, the police chief through here to show them the changes. But it's been different, and we will start hearing some major construction within the next couple of weeks. I've been through that part of the building. It's amazing that all the equipment is out, and now they will be demoing those walls, and they will hear some noise and distraction. Testing tomorrow. They promised me a silent day. We're testing the entire 9, 10, and 11 for SAT. Our seniors are being hosted at Plymouth University. I would like to kudos to the university for offering us their facility to allow our students to come up there for the entire day and run a whole program. So tomorrow the construction will be bare minimums. So if you do hear some concerns, I have cut down some co-curricular programs. As Mark said, we had to get creative with lacrosse, again, because it's a safety issue. Having that area, that building is going to be wide open at certain parts during the season. We have some challenges ahead come the summer when our athletic programs come through with locker room space and all that, but we've got time. So between the superintendent and myself, we can come up with a game plan of what the kids will have to deal with as we move. But we meet with the architects and the construction people every Thursday, and we're willing to make some changes and move ahead as we do. And I try my darndest to keep the staff and the students aware of the changes as we move through. But knock on wood, it's been a good process so far.
And I think in terms of the football field, I think it'll turn out for the better for that field. I mean,
Needs work.
It has great curb appeal. Looks great from a distance, but it needs some work. So you know, we will be playing lacrosse on it, but at the same time, the work that we will do right after the lacrosse season and throughout the fall should make the field even better than it is right now. So we're pretty comfortable making the switch.
With the number of days we've missed, how will that impact the building schedule? Because we're already scheduled to start later in the fall.
Yes. Yeah.
So when, and they're going to be able, because of the delays, kids are in school longer this spring.
Well, they're going to be in, but we're going to shoot for the 15th is the last regular day.
Yeah.
Because we can count. We have an extended periods, so our hours are well above the standard. So what we'll be doing is shooting for the 15th as the last regular day everyone's here. Then there are a couple exam makeup days. So, but we hope to get everyone out of the building by the 22nd of June.
So you didn't really lose any days then?
Well, we pushed this back at least a week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were hoping graduation on the 2nd, and then everyone getting out on the 8th. That's now been pushed to the 15th because of the days. So,
Construction days, we're 3 days behind right now.
Okay.
We're
Well,
3 days back.
I'm not that concerned about the construction schedule because it's a fast track project and we've got folks that, the subs want to get in and out of here. This is a really nice summer project for them. So I'm not that concerned about it, but
Do we need to vote on the moving of the soccer to the football field?
that'd be great. And then also, if you could vote on the 6.8 million GMP, guaranteed maximum price.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Is that just advisory to the board, or will we?
It's a recommendation to
Yes.
the board. Yeah.
All in favor on moving the ball field first? And 6.8 on the project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Weight room damage, insurance?
Yes. John Francis and Dan Rossner worked very hard with our insurance company. So we have the weight room, which you know is a key phys ed station for us, particularly during this time of year. That's all been renovated, redone, put back together again, and the insurance company paid about $32,000 in damages to the room. So we've come out of it. We pay a $1,000 deductible, and so the room's in good shape. We're pretty happy with how it turned out. So.
I've got 4 machines I've got to update in the near future, so I'll keep you apprised as we move through there. But the kids are using it at full pace. But I'm lacking probably about 4 machines that I couldn't replace that I'll look at down the road.
And that didn't have a lot to do with water.
No.
That had to do with age. And the condition of the machines.
I was going to ask, for those of us that don't know what the damage was, could you fill us in a little bit?
Yes, we had above it. We had a pipe burst above the weight room in the nurse's office, and so we had quite a stream of water coming out of a wide open pipe, and so it damaged, from the floor down, and then it leaked into the weight room. So it was during the school day, and we caught as much as we could, but there was a lot of water. It came out very, very quickly. So we got right on it, shut it down, and then the insurance company had their specialists come in right away, and then they just basically told us what we're going to do. When you have that kind of coverage, we're in a self-funded pool, so we insure ourselves in a lot of ways through Primex. And so the company just came in, took over, and did a great job in terms of bringing us back together where we were.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? And again, Mark, on the approval of the purchase of the land?
Yes. From the Pemmy Baker results, as you know, the district voters allowed us to purchase the Fletcher property behind us. You can see that vote was 1,139 to 413. So we certainly appreciate the generosity of the voters and the confidence they have in us. This is a purchase for the future. This is clearly an opportunity for the Pemmy Baker district, who's ever sitting here in future years, to have a little bit of room to expand. Remember, what we did was a lot of that land, it's all in current use now, so the tax bill is just a little bit over between $10 and $20. So a lot of that land is on a downward slope toward the Baker River, and it's just sand, and it's in some areas sort of sliding back into the Baker River Valley. But above it, between the two schools, where you walk over or ski over that trail, which is an easement for the water and sewer district, on either side of it, there's some level land, and as you remember, we had done a survey of that, and it's a little more than 2 acres. So that can be logged off and developed into a practice field at some point, or any kind of field that you would want. Also, we preserve the right, that now it's our land, we preserve the right to have ski trails and the running trails and everything else there. So I think the district voters were right to approve this because it's a good piece of land for us to own. And again, in the short run, we won't be doing anything with it, but it is there for the district in the future. And we also had an advisory vote, and the district said if the board wants to, put that piece on the market, it would still have to be, the sale would be approved by the district voters. But it's a clear indication, 1221 to 280, that it's all right with them if we wanted to sell that lot up on Highland Street. And again, there's no rush. We just wanted a feel from the district about that lot. So you have that information and future goes on.
Thank you. Any other business?
Not under facilities. Do you have anything else for facilities?
No, sir.
Our next meeting will be April 17th, I believe probably at 5 o'clock. We have no other questions or concerns during the meeting. Have a vote. All in favor? Thank you. Have a good hearing.
You do.
Okay, it's being past 5 o'clock. We will call the Policy and Budget Committee to order. Agenda review and disposition. Any corrections or anything? Any minutes?
All set?
Okay, so the minutes are accepted as written. SCC bylaws.
Yes, as you remember, we, at your last meeting, we began to review the bylaws and did make one change. And I think, Barbara, if I'm right, the board voted to incorporate that change immediately. And that was in Article 2, the structure. And on February 19th, we changed 3 school board members to 2 and 2 alternates to 1. And only 2 may vote. So that's been approved. And I think this was an opportunity for Barbara to walk through with the board members to see if there was anything else you wanted to review on the SCC bylaws.
Okay, I just wondered if there's anybody here that has reviewed what we were given the last time for the bylaws for the SCC, if they have any comments or recommendations for changes. I know that there was a date that we were going to update, someone was going to look up, it said, council, yeah, it said council will expire under the sunset clause, August 31st, 2009. I know that we've done that since then.
Yeah, we have a couple of times.
Do we have a date on that? Do we know when it was?
I don't know the last one. I'd have to go back and, oh, we did change. I know we have.
Well,
Because every year I bring you the new members for your approval.
Looking, I think, going page by page or just general?
well, if we want to go page by page, we can, or,
This is the meeting to do it, Phil.
Yep.
So I've got, on item 5, communications, this WP&E, is that still in existence?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
You can get,
Yeah, isn't that 1300 AM? I mean, they still do our...
11.1 FM and 1300 AM, doesn't indicate which one it is.
Yeah.
Where's their station? Where is the station? Well, the tower is in Holderness, the FM, the AM tower is on Beach Hill Road, and the office is in my car. The office is in your car? Well, the sales office, yeah. The main office is down in Franklin. Okay, all right, that's, yeah, I thought it was.
Now, whether they run that community service announcement or not, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of, I do but no schools, I know that.
Yeah.
Can local access the TV station?
They can run anything.
Would that be
They always
something
look
we
for
would
things.
look to have them
Sure.
do?
Yeah.
When they go non-public.
I don't know, I did, when I saw WPNH, I remembered where the building used to be, now it's campus security.
Yeah, it used to be 2 High Street.
Yeah, now, but I didn't know where it went to, and I remembered someone saying it's out of Franklin. So I didn't know if it was still a viable option.
So I will add local access channel. How's that?
The towers haven't moved, Bill, I mean, it's still the same. No, right. So, no one's, meeting at Franklin instead of Plymouth.
Where's that office?
Franklin, that road.
Oh, I thought it was in your car.
Well, the mobile office is in my car.
Yeah.
Mr. Parsons and I grew up with people that had mobile offices like that.
Any other comments on the SCC bylaws at this point?
Something to bring to our attention.
Okay.
At the end of the SEC structure, this is part 2, Roman numeral 2. It goes down and after defining the structure, whose members, it says limited council membership to 4 consecutive years, except the superintendent. I don't know if we've been adhering to that.
I would advise you not to because it's difficult to get membership on that board.
I've been doing
So I would strike that clause.
We could actually say you're required to stay on if you
That would work, Mr. Brickley.
Say, repeat that. I'll catch it on TV. Okay, so what is your pleasure on that? I like the suggestion of the principal. You just strike that?
I would like to see it strike. Yeah, because it's hard to,
Strike the whole clause.
yeah.
Which one are you referring to?
No, just the limited council membership to 4 consecutive years, just that one, because it's under structure. So
Right,
you don't want to.
but you can get rid of, except the superintendent and principal, you can get rid of the whole thing.
Yeah, right. We're just going to delete that whole last paragraph as such. Limited council membership to 4 consecutive years, except the superintendent and principal. Eliminate. And we want to take a vote on that? Who's here on the committee? Almost everybody.
Do you want to address, if I could, Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
Do you want to add a date now? As you can tell by this date, we don't revisit these things often. So you may want to address it and add 3 to 18, so to 21. How's that?
It'll be the new administration.
That's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
2021.
That's right.
Yeah.
I like that date.
I like that date.
What is the specific date?
It'll be August 31st, 2021.
Randy's problem.
That's good. So that's. Anybody see anything else?
If that be all, the school community council bylaw section, let's move on to number 4, student co-curricular drug/alcohol policies.
Peter, are we going to move that up to the full board for a vote?
Yes, please.
I'll make the motion that the committee recommend that to the full board for approval.
Second?
Sure.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, on it goes. Student co-curricular drug alcohol policy, weighted grades.
All right, these are 2 distinct policies. The weighted grade one was a change that it would say earn time is based on weighted grades. On the front page of that. That was the recommendation. And then Mr. Parsons has some changes on electronic smoking devices and also on the participation agreement and code of conduct.
Sam?
Yeah, I've had some time to look through a little bit and think about it over the last few weeks since we talked about it. I have some concerns that I'd like to hear from some other members about, and I don't have any suggestions on how to change it possibly, but some of the things that popped up, and I understand the administration's concerns overall, the broad concern. The first one, though, that I had is under the proposed policy, it treats tobacco use the same as alcohol use, the same as illegal drug use. So each one would count as an offense. And in my own mind, I see them as steps. I mean, I see smoking or tobacco as a much more mild thing than, say, using alcohol or then using illegal drugs. But they're all treated the same under the policy. In other words, 1, 2, 3 violations. The second piece and again, I don't have a resolution for this either, but it's always entered in my mind, it treats out-of-school offenses the same as in-school offenses. And I see those as not necessarily being the same too. And then the third piece that I'd like to raise, people talk about is, and this is the one I've thought the most about, is the new proposed 3 violations in 1 year, and then you're out the entire next year for all co-curricular activities. I get the punishment piece, I get the deterrent piece, and there's an educational piece too in my mind. We have a responsibility to do that. It just strikes me as too harsh a punishment in the sense that you're taking away all hope for, let's say, a junior, for instance. Three strikes, they can't do any co-curricular senior year. What do they have to look forward to? What incentive do they have to get back on track? And I understand the administration's concerns talking about how fall sports particularly treat different than spring sports. I think that was the...
Well, the other piece too, Sam, is in school and out of school. I mean, a student can violate it out of school, and our present policy is they just miss a game. I mean...
Well, this is changing it to
Correct.
make it the same.
Correct.
But let me give a hypothetical I was just thinking about before. This might be almost no chance of it happening, based on what you talked about before. Let's say that, let's say a student was dipping tobacco outside of school, right? The school found out about it, the kid admitted to it.
Okay.
That's a violation.
That's a violation, correct.
If he did that 3 times in 1 school year, out of school, he would then not be able to do any co-curricular activities for the next school year under the current policy. Is that right?
If we've hooked tobacco and alcohol and drugs
Right.
together, correct, you're right.
I see that as being a very different situation than somebody getting caught with illegal drugs in school 3 times in 1 year. And the former prosecutor in me, I would say that you have graduated punishments depending on the level of offenses. This one, probably for a matter of convenience, and it probably makes it more consistent, lumps it all together on some areas that I don't necessarily see the same. Again, I don't have a proposed recommendation. It's just three distinct things that have jumped out to me that I'd like to.
I look at it from a health issue, in that we're trying to avoid the kids from incurring future, enjoyment in these things, so they think. They all lead to death at some point, or could lead to death at some point. So that's the way I look at it. It's prevention.
Any
And as
chance
far as
to
the
get
kid who
something.
chews 3 times after he's been warned once, twice, not a right move.
No, but does it warrant a whole year of no co-curricular activity after programs?
Good.
Is it going to curtail them from doing it? I think it's, the harsher it is, the more likely I'm going to say, I'm not going to do that if I'm not going to be able to play football or baseball or whatever the next year.
Well, that's the deterrent effect.
Yeah, when I went to high school, that's the way it was. You got caught smoking cigarettes or whatever, even if it was off campus or wherever, you were punished. It was what it was. I guarantee you I didn't do it the second time. Sure. Because I did get caught. Never again in my life did I do it. Because I worked hard enough to get to where I was. But I understand in today's society, we're a little bit more, give them 7 or 8, maybe 9 chances. At some point, you got to draw the line in the sand.
Do you see, though, I mean, this question, do you see tobacco use the same as alcohol use and the same as illegal drug use?
Yeah, it's still a habit that leads to me, a long-range issue for anybody.
One though, is
Society.
It's also
tobacco
illegal.
is
It's also
legal.
illegal.
It's also illegal.
Yeah.
Well, at that age, yeah.
Yeah.
They all are.
Which is part of the issue, I
Yeah,
think, too,
21.
that we're talking about illegal behaviors. But I see where you're coming from, too, you know?
Phil, isn't tobacco at 18, you can purchase it and have it in your possession?
Yeah, I think it could be 18.
So I tend to agree with Sam's point. Alcohol and any drugs are illegal. And
none of it's good.
But I almost think that there ought to be a difference, especially when you get to the point of, when you pull that rug completely out from underneath the kid, where there's no hope, no light at the end of the tunnel, you're telling me I'm a bad kid, all right, I'll be bad. I tend to agree with Sam on the tobacco piece of it.
I would suggest we revisit that. I mean, I think this conversation can and should go on for a bit deeper than.
Oh, I do. I'm not recommending, I wouldn't feel comfortable in voting on this policy
Right.
tonight. I'm raising the issues that I've thought about since our last meeting. These three, again, I don't have a response in terms of what the right policy looks like, but people might have differences of opinion. It's just three things that I've picked up on that I see as issues. that we need
There's
to think
also
about.
research. There's a ton of research about this and what schools should be doing. And that's something that we might want to take into account. It might not make it easy for the administration and for the people dealing with it day to day, I don't know. But as far as what's best for kids, there is data out there.
Well, and I don't want anyone to...
If I could add,
Yeah.
just in response to Phil, I'm not saying the kid's bad. It's not the kid at all. It's the issue of them, the habit they're doing. That's bad. And that's what leads to the opiate crisis where we are today.
Sam?
So,
No, and I'm glad you said that, because I don't think anyone here is, I'm not suggesting that I'm condoning any of this use.
Right.
We're talking about, consistency, what's the appropriate policy to have, do you treat all these things equally at the end of the game, when you've been told 3 times what should be the ultimate penalty. I think there's, it's not a black and white issue, there's a lot of gray area. And so, I don't feel comfortable voting on something right now without having more information and talking about it. And I don't think there's an urgency to vote on it right now.
No, there is. One concern I want to bring to the school board's attention is we need the consistency of outside this school. The rules are completely different. I could have a student outside that school get picked up for DWI or whatever, and they only miss 1 game. If it happened inside the school, then it's a 2-week and then an 8-week of school. That policy kicks in. We've had that happen, and it's kind of, sitting on my end. Oh, you're in school, okay, so here's 10 days. But you did this over the weekend, and you're only gonna miss a game, and I gotta watch you go out there and play? So that's what generated this, I hear Sam and the smoking, absolutely, can it wait? We need to look at that outside piece pretty quick, because that's happening out there.
Yeah,
And I need to deal with it.
We need to look at the vaping
Correct.
piece.
I need, and people are saying, geez, I just saw this kid, and he's out there on the team, and what are they running there? And again, what we use is, if they sit in front of me, or Mr. Cleary, and I have the evidence, that's what we use. I don't go out and witch hunt. I'm not out there, banging the doors down to see what they did for the weekend. No. But if it falls in our plate, we need to get our rules that are consistent, and they're not right now.
And if, Bruce, you're saying that, what are their peers saying? How fair is that? They're
Correct.
saying they're hearing
Oh, absolutely. When they
With social
stand,
media,
correct.
it's all
Correct.
over.
Yeah, they're in the stands, the kids' friends in the stands. Gee, he's out there again
Time
already?
and time again.
Oh, she's out there again?
Yeah,
Right.
happens all the
Correct.
time.
And as I understand, there's an issue with counting too, and that's why this
Yes,
was
correct.
proposed, because an out-of-school one counts as 1.
It doesn't really count as any, right, Mr. Clary? Yeah, doesn't count as anything. Out of school.
So you could have 10 out of school. It
Yeah,
doesn't count.
and just keep missing a game. And that's what we had to look at. And do we want to go outside? Do I want to do that on weekends and at night? I have enough on my plate. But it's there. I have to deal with it with harassment. I have to deal with it in bullying.
Yeah.
So, we found a hole, and that's the hole. That's what led to this piece. But I would agree with Sam, is smoking this, that's your guys' conversation. We don't have a big issue with smoking in that piece. Vaping, and that other issue now is in the school. That's the problem. That's the problem. So if you want to compare vaping with smoking, again, I'm not the wellness guy.
well, that's the cigarette company.
Correct.
hooking the kids, now they have the vaping, it's like a fall.
Yeah.
And it's hard to detect. But
Looks
there
like
is an
a USB
urgency,
drive.
Maureen, on you guys looking at this. So,
There-
you know,
yeah.
I'd like you guys, so when these kids go home, they have a policy that I can stick my
So for next
feet
year,
into.
this is for next fall.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, because it's, the spring sports have already started.
Yeah.
So I think it would be unfair to hit those kids with that. So I would like to see this put in for next fall, to be able,
And
once you
since-
guys hash it out.
Yeah.
Do I hear a motion to revisit this after we've all had a chance to look it over? Maybe in another
But what
month?
about the retreat? About, you know, really tackling it
That's too
there?
late.
Too late.
Too late to get it.
I got football camp,
Yeah.
soccer camp, field hockey
We'll
camp.
we can put drug and alcohol issue on for your next committee meeting.
I would recommend that we have somebody who's familiar with what's going on in the school and what these substances are doing and what it's all about. You know, you've got this new stuff coming in with juuling and most of us don't really get it. So I think it would be wise
We have them here too, yep.
to have somebody
have
come
someone
in to educate us.
Bill?
I guess I would, because of the matter with the issue we're dealing with, the significance, rather than waiting to a monthly
Yeah.
committee meeting, not necessarily set up an ad hoc committee, but someone that can do the groundwork and look at policies. And maybe the committee, if they want to do it, if not, appoint someone who has the interest and background to be able to deal with working with maybe Mr. Clary or Mr. Parsons.
Superintendent?
Well, someone needs, no. I didn't hear all what you said. I don't know, I mean, it just seems that we ought to move more expeditiously to bring this to closure.
If somebody's interested in it,
That's pretty
it's, who's working on it? Mr. Clary's working on it, and,
Mr. Clary, Mr. Austin, and Mr. Carey, my athletic
all
director.
right, so they should contact
Yep,
those three.
yep.
Okay.
They're the people who deal with it on a daily basis.
The weighted grade piece, Mr. Chairman, is that a little less? Controversial.
Any sort of, put this off for,
The weighted grade piece, I'll move to go to the full board.
Thank you, that's just an earned time fee.
all right, what do we want to do about the drug and alcohol? Just put it off for a month? Well,
We'll put it on the agenda for a month, and then folks who want to get involved more deeply in it should contact Mr. Clary. How's that?
Okay. That sounds good to me. All right, the SAU 2 Ashland School District Memorandum of Understanding.
Yes, this has been completely redone, and at the request of this board. And what we have done is that we have added two components now. There would be an agreement between the Ashland School Board and the Pemmy Baker School Board as one agreement, and then the other agreement is between SAU 2 and SAU 48. So I believe it was Mr. Deachman's recommendation that there are a lot of different legal entities in one document had it a little bit or messed up.
And that
better.
would be the same agreement then?
Yeah, two separate agreements, but it's the same subject matter that we have already discussed and reviewed. So what you have in front of you now, in your new packet, is the new agreement.
Any comments on that, folks? Do we have any? What are we looking to do, bring it to the full board, or?
Bring it to the full board, when this board is comfortable. I mean, the Ashland board, quite frankly, is looking forward to getting it. There'll be two processes for us. It'll be this process whenever you choose to pass this, and then the SAU piece will be brought to the spring SAU meeting and later in May.
Can I ask you a question on this?
Sure.
Mr. Deachman's out of town, since he's the one who made this, do you know if he's reviewed this yet, or?
No, I don't think he's reviewed it. He's had it, but given his schedule, I don't think he has reviewed it.
Blow it through.
Well, he's the one that raised the issue and
Right,
wanted to
that's right.
address it. I think it's only fair to him
That's
that
fine.
he get an opportunity to
Absolutely.
review it.
And he'll be back the next,
April 18th.
April 18th, so he
Yeah.
will be back, not the next meeting, but the meeting after.
No, we bring it in April.
I know, the second meeting in April, oh,
No, it's only, we would be bringing it in at your committee meeting on April 17th.
okay.
And he'll be back the next night.
All right, Ralph will be back the second night.
Yeah, he's not coming back till the 18th, Ross.
Oh, the 18th? I
The
thought that's
18th.
15th.
No, he's coming back the 18th, he told me.
All right. We'll put it on for the April meeting just to keep it going, or we'll
Okay.
lose track of it.
That's
All
right. We
right.
don't need a motion or anything like that, just,
That's fine. Yeah, because if they both get done in May, then they'll go down.
articulation agreements.
Randy, you want the?
Sure, so that's why I'm here, just to give you a quick review of articulation agreements that we have in place, mostly in career and tech ed, and how they work. Articulation agreement is an agreement that we have with a college to award credit once the high school course is completed at that particular college that we have the agreement with. And it works particularly well in career and tech ed because all the competencies are already in place from the state, and the curriculum lines up very well with those courses that are in college that are autos is a good example. We have 3 articulation agreements in autos where students can get credit if they enroll in the 3 that we have, Lake Teresa Community College, Universal Technical Institute, or University of Northwestern Ohio. So that's an example. We have 3 articulation agreements, one with each of those schools, and if our students complete our autos program and apply and are accepted to that school and enroll in those schools, they'll get dual credit, the high school credit and the college credit. So we have articulation agreements in autos, culinary, digital media, health science, drafting and marketing. We have Running Start, which is very similar, dual credit, college credit, while you're gaining high school credit.
Any comments on that, any questions?
This is just an update, because I know you hear articulation agreement every once in a while, and I just wanted to make sure that everybody had a handle on what it was, which is a little bit different than our agreement that allows students who go through every course here to access courses at Plymouth State University.
So Randy, when someone finishes auto here, and they do all the classes, do all the classwork, and they proficiency out and are real good, and they go to the tech down in Laconia, which has an auto program, they'll start out with credits? Is that what you're
Correct.
saying?
Yep.
Right, good deal.
No charge.
No charge. Wow, better deal.
It
So
is,
like an AP class, you get college credits if you finish.
but this is a guarantee of those credits. AP is up to the university whether they decide to take it or not.
Don't most of them take it though?
Depends. Depends.
Fiscal year 18 review of revenues and appropriations updates.
Yes, all of you have a hard copy of the revenue update. And let me just, you have my notes on it. We are at 80.2% of our revenue target, which is a good place to be toward the end of March. And so I'm waiting for one more equitable ed payment, which is targeted to be $656,000. See that number up there? And that's expected in April 1st. And then some of the other revenues will be coming in over time. Medicaid is a late arriver. But all in all, you can see that our revenues are in pretty good shape. Down below, you can see the activity from the towns. Most of them are in that 65 to 75%, which is where they need to be. We're at the 75% poll mark at the end of March. So you can see that all the communities, quite frankly, are on target, with the exception of one. In terms of appropriations, if you look on board docs, the appropriation sheets are there. I don't, on a monthly basis, I don't make, these are rather large sheets, but I will tell you that our right now are including a reserve for unreserved fund balance. We have about 4.9% of our adjusted total still available, so that's a great place to be at this time of year. So cash flow is good, the receivables are good, and the appropriations are running on. So all in all, it's a comfortable place to be for the end of March.
Any questions or comments on that?
And again, if you go through this and you have any questions when you're at home, please feel free to call me.
Okay, future meetings will be April 17th, May 15th, and June 19th. Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye. All right, so we will open program and staffing. Agenda review and disposition?
I will need that non-public session because we will be discussing nominations for the next school year for the faculty.
And Madam Chair, I have a acceptance of another foreign exchange student, if I may.
Okay. And that you want in non-public?
Yes.
Okay. All
And we
right.
will obviously make the recommendation in public once they've been reviewed by the board. So the actual nomination process itself is a public event. It's just the board has the opportunity to review my nominations in non-public, and I can respond to any questions about any of the nominations.
Okay. Approval of the minutes. Any corrections or changes on the minutes of February 19th?
Okay.
If not, they will be approved as written. Nominations. So this is in non-public.
Right.
Any other business? other
Yes, my
than-
foreign exchange student.
Oh, right, okay.
I have a young man, Iago Gonzalez Garez. And Iago is where the Bulls run in Spain. He's not 6'5", 200, but he looks like he's a decent goalie in soccer. I think the Millers and Holderness are going to house this young man. It's an approved program. Let me pass that around for you for your perusal.
Thank you.
This would be number 2, I think. We're allowed 4, and it has to be done before June 30th. This young man, I think, is a junior. Some nice pictures in there, Sam, you like to look at, but it meets all our criteria. So I
Okay.
need your approval so I can send this off to him and make sure he makes arrangements.
And
Right,
do
Mrs. Hunt?
you need it moved on to the full board?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to move it on to
Thank
the
you.
board.
Second? Okay, all in favor? All right, thank you. All right. Any other business?
Yeah, Mr. Superintendent, I think we want to tell them about the walkabout.
Yes, I was going to do that in the regular board meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry, then I'll shut up.
All right. All right, do I hear a motion to go into non-public?
Yeah.
Okay, second?
The one meeting a month I get to start, unless you'd like to. You generally enjoy that
That's
sort
right.
of.
I do.
Yeah, well, not tonight.
One time before I leave, you let me do it.
Yes, I get to call the meeting to order, and as you know, March is a reorganization month, and so I would take nominees for chair of the board for the 18-19 school year. No.
Can we just do the whole slate?
No, we're just doing a chair, and then I turn it over to the incoming chair.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to nominate Kathy Hahn as the chair.
Yeah, I would second that.
It's a motion and a
She'll
second.
have us again
If she-
in our life.
Hearing no other nominations, I deem nominations closed. All those in favor of Kathy Hahn for chair?
Aye.
Opposed? It's all yours, Madam Chair.
All right,
Thank you so much for your vote of confidence.
I didn't know she wanted it.
Are you willing to do vice chair again?
Yes.
And Barbara, would you be interested in doing secretary, or would you rather not?
You can be patient with me. I haven't been the best because of various things.
You're great.
We're very
You're
happy.
amazing.
We don't have any complaints.
I can tell you all want this.
Yeah, I have that same feeling. Well, if anyone would like to nominate Lisa and Barbara?
Yes.
Phil? So moved, seconded by Maureen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Agenda review and disposition?
I'm all set now.
Unless there are any corrections or amendments to the minutes of February 19th, they stand approved as written. Student reports.
He's upstairs in a ceremony.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were the student.
Oh, no, he's here for civics.
Oh, I put you on the spot, I'm sorry.
But he can give a report if he wants. So. He can tell you how the school's gone.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Mr. Halloran.
Yes, the first item of business really is, as you know, Ed Guerrero resigned in late February after the posting period for offices and elections. So, and Ed's resignation was accepted by the board at your last meeting. So, the Rumney seat is vacant, and I would offer the board that we would make that public, that we're looking for residents of Rumney to serve a one-year term until the next election. And then the following election would be for the remainder of Ed's term, which would be another year. And then we would post it for that any interested Rumney resident contact our office. We would bring all of those names to the board. I'm not selecting anybody. All those names come to the board, and you can do what you choose to do with them. But you, by a majority of the board, you would be filling that seat with a Rumney resident for the remainder of this school year. I mean, the following, until the next election.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. If anyone knows anyone in Rumney who might be interested, I encourage you to reach out to them to encourage them to consider it.
Also, I handed out to everyone a letter that parents in SAU 48 got. This went home with, or electronically went to our parents, about Walkabout Wednesday Youth Art Month. As you know, this March is generally, is always, the month that we have our cultural arts night here at the high school. But due to construction, we decided last summer that we would not be having the event because none of our facilities other than the high school can hold the sorts of crowds that we've been getting. So I said to all the principals, it would be voluntary if you want to do something within your communities with music and art. Well, a number of folks said, yeah, we'd like to do something. So on a volunteer basis, led by Gail Adams Davis in Waterville Valley, they have put together music and art for basically the month of March. And there are displays throughout the town of Plymouth from all of our schools, including Ashland. And but tomorrow night is the kickoff. The event times are 5 to 7, and you can see on the handout that it will begin the process throughout downtown Plymouth, and then all those paragraphs talk a little bit about where art and where music performances are going to be. So kudos to all the folks who volunteered from every building. You'll be very pleased with the quality of art and music in all of our schools, and you only have to come and listen to Will Gunn or see the art that is up in our up and all over the town. The quality of the art program, music program is just outstanding. And we actually have a high school student who will be getting an award at Carnegie Hall this summer. Is it Toby Phillips?
Toby Phillips, go, yep.
And so, very exciting for us to have that sort of national recognition of our students. So, kudos to all the folks that, all K through 12, worked with these students.
It's really nice that it's out in the community too, that
Yes.
so many involved there.
And one last issue. I'm requesting that the board cancel its April 3rd meeting. Or move it, just because, quite frankly, we're not going to have much business through that period of time. And so what we'd be looking at is doing everything, excuse me, the night of the April 17th. Then we would go back to our normal schedule on in May, 2 meetings in May and 2 meetings in June, and our retreat in July. And then you can, at the retreat, you can decide whether you want to go back to 3 meetings a month or stay at 2 meetings a month, or however you want to do it.
If we're looking to expedite the conversation from the meeting we had earlier, the policy that we talked about, would it make sense to try to bump that a week earlier, like to the 9th or 10th, instead of the 17th?
I'm
Or
not available.
16th, 17th?
Yeah, it's about availability for
Okay.
us, because we have,
You
We
have
get
other-
prior commitments.
yeah, we have a lot of other.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm fine with waiting until that 17th.
But
It's not-
I think that if the board members wanted to, there's no reason that the interested board members couldn't work with Randy and Bruce during that period of time, so when it came out on the 17th, if the board was pleased, you could finish it up. I mean, it's not, it'd be your call. So I just,
So, okay.
just just to either cancel or move April 3rd, that's all.
Well, is anyone, are folks okay with canceling it unless we need it? And if we do, then I'll get in touch with, I'll talk to you about reaching out to.
If
board
there's something
members.
urgent, then we would put it back on.
Yeah. Everyone okay with that? Okay. So we will cancel the 3rd.
Great, thank you. And I'm all set, Madam Chair.
Mr. Parsons?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think you see in your packets a letter from the community closet. A nice letter to our music director, Mr. Gunn. And I don't need to read it to you. I also let you know that we did put on this weekend is the festival where we showcase our chorus in our band. We hosted a couple of years. It's quite an event to host when you have close to 2,000 people come through your doors. This weekend, it's in Bow. Mr. Gunn has quite the crowd going down. He gave us a little snapshot on Friday. We had a quick assembly for the entire school. Again, I want to commend the students. They're unbelievable. You can hear a pin drop through. I think we have the biggest chorus in the state too. I think Mr. Gunn pointed that out. But it was a great show. And these kids are going this weekend to compete down in Bow. Tomorrow's a heck of a day. We are testing the 9th graders, the 10th graders, and the 11th graders. Tomorrow is the state assessment. All the high schools in the state, all the junior class, they receive the SAT. That's the test that the state and the superintendents have agreed upon. That would be the assessment, and the 21st is the day. I want to publicly acknowledge the work that Mr. Price, Mr. Austin, and Mrs. Orlando puts in, because it is absolutely unbelievable the amount of time Every room in this building is being used. To make sure this process goes smoothly, I've got to get the seniors out of here. That happened to fall just perfect. And kudos to the president of the college, John, and his staff for allowing this high school to go use the college facilities for the entire day. They're also picking up the tab for the breakfast and the lunch they're providing. And Denise McGlone, who chaired this group last year, we took them up to Waterville Valley, has put together quite the program. I'll have her come in April to report how that goes out. But we invite a lot of members from the community to come in. They do a financial piece, we do a yoga piece, there's all kinds of activities that the kids have to sign up for. They are doing a giant assembly. That piece, I did pay Trish Lindbergh and the Tiger program. They're seeing a presentation. I don't know if these kids have seen this before, the seniors, but there's one big assembly for that. I think we're at the new, the location to that new conference center. The kids will come in here at 7:30, they'll meet here, seniors. I need them out of here by 7:45. They'll go out this back door and out. Freshmen are all testing in the gym, 165. And then I have my juniors in the north wing, and then the sophomores are in the main part of the building. Keep in mind, you get accommodations, and we're probably providing, I want to say probably anywhere between 75 and 80 accommodations. Some need single rooms, some need MP players, or whatever. So there's a lot of timing that went into it. So we got a little nervous when the weather was coming up because if this got pushed off, it would have been an issue to deal with. So hopefully tomorrow, the kids will be getting released early. Because the testing gets done at completely different times. The freshmen end around 11:30, sophomores around 12, and the juniors around 12:30. And I didn't want the seniors coming back, so we've got some activities planned with the remainder of the day. Kids will be dismissed at 1:45. Buses will be picking the kids up. We did a pen alert to let them know on that. So that's done. I think you'll report out with the CT, with the facilities committee. It has been a challenge. It has been a challenge, but the students again have responded quite well, and the teachers in that vocational, the career tech program too, have moved to the different areas. Co-curricular, you may get some calls, have been affected. I'm just out of space. And one of the pieces we have to keep in mind is that safety piece. I mean, you've got construction work going here, on the side during the day. And I've got all these pieces used. So there were some co-curricular activities that were affected that we weren't being able to run. To give you an example, I want to, again, kudos to Cafe Services. They took my culinary arts 2 kids and put together the hors d'oeuvres for tonight's National Honor Society presentation that Tanya just forgot some stuff, so she'll be bringing that up. I knew because I could see it wasn't on the tray. But it's getting funky working like that. Like he took 8 or 9 kids and did a pasta bar. And the kids love that. But obviously, with those programs in different areas, they don't get that hands-on, that lab work that's going to be done. So again, it's a challenge. I work with the superintendent, and we've talked about the days, and working with the teachers and that staff. So we're not going to move any days in the 3rd quarter. We'll just shorten the 4th quarter. So the progress reports and all that stuff will stay the same. It's been busy. And we have one more strand to complete with NEASC, and I'm able to, I hope to bring the last strand to the full faculty at the end of the month. That's strand number 2 that Tanya is leading, and then I'll be able to report out. I'll bring the whole piece back to the full faculty when we come up with our 3 recommendations that we would like to see in the report. I'll bring that to the full board hopefully in May. So we'll be ready for that, because that piece, the collaborative team is coming October 21, 22, 23 next year. Well, that's right in the middle of, I'm still in construction, that's good. So they'll come in here and they'll review that whole report and then give us more pieces to work on. But I'll update you once the full faculty. They've already voted on 4. I've got 1 more left. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee progress reports. Facilities?
Going on what we did today?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
We discussed the CTE project update. Everything seemed to be moving pretty well. I believe the project was a little bit higher than what we anticipated, but everything is still on the board.
No, we've negotiated the new guaranteed maximum price, and it ended up being a little lower than we anticipated. After working with general contractor and general contractor working with subs. So we're very pleased with where that number ended up.
Thank you.
So that needs to go, the full board needs to vote on that.
And I will give you that number so you have it in the chair can sign. The revised final GMP value is $6,806,578. As you remember, the bond was for around 8.5 million.
Good
Now,
work.
the architectural fees and some engineering fees are above that, but we're in good shape.
If I could have a motion on the amount of...
Well, it's a recommendation
Right.
from the board, from committee.
Okay.
Yes.
So, all those in favor of accepting that? Aye. Opposed and abstaining?
Thank you.
You're
I'm
on.
new with this, so let's thank you.
Doing well, yeah, I like it.
And then we discussed the weight room damage. The insurance company has come through that, and everything seems to be running good. Everything, all the project, the equipment stuff's been moved back in, and the classes are back on schedule. And then the next thing we discussed was the approval of the land. It was voted on at the town meeting through all the towns, and it was voted on. It was recommended by all towns very highly, and I appreciate the vote from the townspeople. And the other thing we discussed was moving the lacrosse field to the football field.
The sport of lacrosse will be played, we propose the board be played on the football field this spring. I understand, and we all understand, that there'll be some work, a lot of work that will need to be done on the football field after lacrosse season, but the field, even without lacrosse, was in need of some significant work. So this allows us to keep lacrosse on the campus and at the same time go about doing our work on the football field after the lacrosse season. And the reason for having to move lacrosse, quite frankly, is safety concerns on that side of the building. We can put up sign after sign after sign, but the crowds and the access for folks to come and see the game, people would be everywhere trying to get at that field. So the field will be open. The larger construction equipment will be gone for fall sports. So soccer will be played over there next fall. But this spring, that side of the building, parking lots are closed off. It will be a dangerous place to be for people wandering around. It's just not safe. So having lacrosse come on to the football field allows folks that they can come around on the access road. Folks that can't get out of the car can stay in the car and see the game from the hill. In fact, probably a better vantage point that they've been able to see soccer and lacrosse from. And also, all pedestrians and folks coming to the game park in the regular parking lots, come around this side, and there's absolutely no reason to be on that side of the building. So I can assure you we fought as much as we could to keep lacrosse down there, but it just made no safety sense. And the contractor had some major concerns about, John and I had proposed a walking path sort of, and it didn't pass the common sense test. So with the board's permission, we'll move both boys and girls lacrosse out to the football field for this year only, and then we will work with Park and Rec to reinvigorate the field at the end of the season using landscaping techniques, and also we will be turfing the areas that get beat up, mostly in front of the net and the center circles.
So all those in favor of that recommendation? Opposed and abstaining?
And we adjourn, our next meeting is April 17th at 5 o'clock, and we adjourn shortly after that. So thank you.
Thank you, Walter.
Policy and budget met tonight. The minutes were accepted. We recommended or bring to the full board 2 changes in the school community council bylaws. The first change being changing it to 2 school board members and 1 alternative. And the second one being changing the sunset time from 2009 to August 31st, 2021. I think we can bring those both.
Could I change one more? I mean, we talked about one more, the limiting the membership to 4 years. We were going to strike that
Oh, yeah,
clause
that's
so a
right.
person
We
could.
did. Okay. Everybody hear that? Okay.
So all
let's
those
bring
in
those
favor?
3 on the same motion. or
That'd be
3
fine.
separate motions?
All those in favor of,
We already approved at our last meeting, that was only committee minutes.
To bring it to the, to bring it to the full board.
Bill?
No, I thought you called for vote.
Yeah.
Let's vote on the
All
3 of them.
Yeah.
all 3 of those? I think that passes.
But, discussion.
We've already voted.
Well, we already voted. There was one correction and
Okay.
and follow this with me because I know this happened a lot when we first were forming. It is the Hemi Baker School District, the Hemi Baker School Board, but if you follow down on the collaborative decision-making in that, it's the Hemi Baker Regional High School. So it's not the Hemi Baker Regional High School, it's the Plymouth Regional High School. That's just,
Do you want that you want Plymouth Regional High School?
it should be Plymouth Regional
Yep.
High School, not Hemi Baker.
That's just basically bookkeeping. I don't think we need to have a motion to come before the board.
Thank you, I'll take care of it.
Okay, we also discussed the co-curricular drug alcohol policy, and we have put that off to the next time we meet. Weighted grades, has been a motion brought to the full board to change the weighted grade to be earned time is based on weighted grade.
So all those in favor of that recommendation? Looks like another unanimous.
We also discussed the memorandum of understanding with SAU2, the Ashland School District, and it actually is going to be 2 separate agreements. They're similar and they're on the same subject. One agreement will be between the Ashland School Board and our school board, and there will be an agreement between SAU4 and SAU48. Again, similar agreements on the same material.
SAU 2.
That's 2, right? Okay.
Bristol's 4.
Bristol's football, we don't want to agree with that. Okay. We also discussed articulation agreements. We have articulation agreements set up with several schools. An articulation agreement, and correct me, Mr. Superintendent, if I'm wrong, is set up with a college so that when you continue to matriculate here and complete a course, say auto mechanics, if we have an articulation agreement with Laconia Road Tech,
Right.
they will receive, the student will receive credits, college credits at no cost.
Yes.
Is that pretty much it?
Yep.
Okay, we discussed that. You also went over fiscal year 18 revenues and appropriations, and we're at 80.2% of revenues, and that's a good place for us to be right now. We're waiting for one large check for equitable education aid of $656,830. That should be in around the 1st of April or 1st of May.
1st of April.
1st of April, but we're in good place, and we're also in good place on the appropriation side. We have 4.9% of our adjusted available appropriations, and that's real good at the state. So, the next meeting of the Policy and Budget Committee will be on April 17th.
Thank you, Peter. Maureen?
Yes, program and staffing met and approved the minutes from February 19th. And Mr. Parsons brought to the board a foreign exchange student from Spain and asked that we bring that to the full board. Did we bring that on to the full board?
Yes.
Okay, so we need to vote on that?
So coming from committee is the recommendation to accept the foreign exchange student as a junior. All those in favor?
Aye.
And that's unanimous.
All right, and then we went into non-public session for faculty nominations. And after non-public, we adjourn.
Thank you.
In non-public, I think, tonight.
Yeah, after non-public, we'll do
Right.
nominations.
We have another
after
non-public.
okay.
Yeah.
Discussion items.
Yes, I handed out results from the school district meeting, and I was very pleased by the results. Quite frankly, some communities I was very impressed with. But everything passed by significant margins, and again, I appreciate the support of the residents of the Pemmy Baker district. And when you look at the voting, it was quite impressive. So thank you for the confidence that voters have in us, and we hope to continue to earn further confidence.
Very impressive turnout, given that that was an extremely stormy day.
Yes?
Did you have anything else, Mark? Was that
No,
it for
because I'm ready to go
public?
to non-public on nominations.
Board member concerns? Bill?
Not a concern, but I would share with the board that there was an event recently, fundraiser was held at the barn, Common Man Barn, and Plymouth High School students took part in that. And what I heard from those in attendance is that the students represented the high school extremely well. And an event like that with I think it was over 300 people, and for the students to present well, and speak well of what happened.
What did the students do?
I believe it was on the interview, they worked with the interview, remember that interviewing process I did with some of the folks in town?
They took oral histories from people that have been in town, in the community for a long period of time, and recorded all of those oral histories, along with, I think, some mapping of the community also. It was the digital media classes that Lena McLean has. So Lena and the kids were at the dinner, and they did the presentation. And thank you, Phil, for bringing that up. The kids were very well received by all the folks that were at the dinner. Yeah, it was a major fundraiser for rehabilitation and upkeep of the Webster Courthouse, where now Plymouth Historical Society has their headquarters and memorabilia from the past. So it was a terrific night, and kudos to all the folks that the Historical Society and their leadership, and also the folks from the library that are involved in that. So it was a great community event.
Any other board member concerns? I do have a couple of things. Board docs. We purchased this program and it is available to all. I hope, and Kate, I don't know if you need to be set up on that.
I am.
Oh, perfect, all right. It's a good way to help save money. Otherwise, we're spending about a couple thousand.
It's a couple $1,000s for the program, so we're happy to bring some backup, but I just want the board members aware that that we're paying for that service as a convenience, and that's so we don't have to run off an awful lot of stuff. But again, folks that are more comfortable with the hard copy, that's fine, but just make you aware that Board Docs is there. It's a very effective tool for Michelle to stay in contact with you too.
And you can easily print from Board Docs from your own home, so. That's quite easy to do.
We'll make an effort to put more and more things on there, so that you get faster awareness of some things going on. Not necessarily for board meetings, but anything going on, and things that Bruce might be handing out. You also can put those up on board docs for you to see what's going on a daily basis. Happy to do that.
I was trying to get it on my phone the other night, and I think I'm there, but I didn't realize that's an option too.
Yeah,
Which makes it
Michelle,
real nice.
Michelle can work with you. She's become very good with board docs, and
Yeah, she
very
has.
knowledgeable of all its applications and how you can apply that, the phone, laptop, tablet, however you want to use it.
So if people want an update, a lesson,
Yes.
we might be
Michelle,
able
yeah,
to do
if you
that.
honestly, spend half an hour, 45 minutes with Michelle,
Yep.
it's pretty good. Also, the School Boards Association will be running some board member sessions, how to be a board member, importance of being a board member, all of that. It's not a bad refresher. The laws change, impact changes. So if you're interested in going to any of those events, I know you get the emails blast from them. If you ever want to go to any of their events, just contact Michelle. She'll sign you up online and you'll be off and running. So they do very, very good things for school boards in New Hampshire.
As you're aware, each board member does serve on 2 committees usually. If you want to stay on the committees that you are currently on, then we'll just leave it as is. If you want to change, please let me know right away, because I will be assigning different committees. And Kate, I need to chat with you about where your interests are. I think that's it for me. So do I hear a motion to go into non-public session for personnel? Peter, seconded by Maureen. All those